Kia ora, mai whānau, you're with Lilia Tarawa. Today we're going to be talking about self-worth, and we're going to be talking about it in the context of your brand. And we're going to be talking about feeding yourself first so that you can then look after others. I'm trying a new type of podcast episode where it's a little bit more relaxed, conversational. So let me know if you like this type of format and we can do some more. So anyway, here's the viewpoint. Let me just check my notes here. You can't build a thriving brand while starving your needs. And I do think that this is a big one that comes up for us a lot. It has for me, especially because I was a caregiver at a very young age, practically raised most of my younger siblings. And that meant that as a child, a lot of those needs that I needed to be met simply weren't. And that kind of made me into a person who was hyper independent. And let's just check. We are recording. Gosh, I thought we weren't for a minute there. So it made me, back to what we're talking about, into a person who was hyper independent and then always neglected her own needs. And as I've gotten older and healed myself from a very traumatic upbringing and experience living in a religious cult, I've really had to learn to that self-care and what that looks like on a daily basis and what that looks like in terms of my ability to give to the people I love, but my ability to allow myself to receive. This has been very apparent recently on the build of my house. So I just designed and built our new home, and my family have been so generous and so giving. The boys are builders and plumbers and drain lads, and they've come over and given me so much love. And it's actually been really difficult for me to receive. For someone who has played a role in her family where she is always caring for others, to then allow that to come back to me was a real shift and a really a next level that I'm allowing myself to step into, to say, hey, actually, no, you can receive. You're allowed to get support. You don't have to do everything by yourself, and it's not always about looking after everyone else. You're allowed to focus inwards and take care of what you need today, what you need this week, what you need in your business. Those are so important, and I think even more important when we're building a personal brand, because this entire brand is built around you. And so how can you fulfill those massive big goals you have, those big dreams, unless you're really looking after you first? So I believe this is how we thrive. This is how we do more. This is how we be more and become more, is by actually giving ourselves the foundational things that we need. And that's sleep. It's food, good food. It's support where we need it, whether that's going to be therapy, if it's a business coach, if it's, leaning on a friend, whatever that might look like in your life today, make sure that you're letting yourself receive that support. Because sometimes it's not so much that the support isn't there, but sometimes it's that we're not allowing ourselves to access it. So let's allow ourselves to access support when we need it. It's that beautiful cycle of everything that goes around comes around. So when we open ourselves up to receive in, then we can increase our capacity to output and to give. And then when we increase our capacity to output, we're actually needing and requiring more support. So then it just becomes this cycle. And if we can really sit in the ebb and flow of that, if we can sit in the allowing to receive and then that in turn increasing our output, I think that is like such a key piece just to unlocking our own ability to grow. There's just so many women in business who are over-functioning for everyone else. And it's clients, it's kids, husbands, partners. And then they wonder why they feel like they have nothing left to work on their brand and their business. And I used to believe that I had to earn my rest. Like, let's just sit with that for a minute. I used to believe that I had to earn my rest. Rest isn't something that you have to work for. Rest is just something that you need. It's something that you intrinsically are allowed to have. And I think this applies in a lot of areas, not just rest. It's like I used to believe that I had to earn my worth and earn my right to take up space. But those things are actually your human rights. They are things that belong to you, that you are entitled to simply because you are human. And that belief ran so deep, it showed up in my relationships. I used to think that you could work harder to make a relationship work. And these days, and I have the most beautiful, loving relationship these days, best thing in my life. But these days, my beliefs have totally shifted. Now I don't believe that I have to work harder and that relationships should be hard. I believe today that relationships are actually easy and they're supposed to be easy. And if they're not, then I believe that that's something I should let go of. And that's how I generally navigate my relationships now. So in the past, in romantic relationships, I really felt, well, if we work harder at this, if I change, if he changes, if we grow, then we're going to be okay. And now I do not subscribe to that belief whatsoever. I think it's a very outdated belief as well. I mean, each their own, but what I'm running with these days is actually that like relationships should be so easy. Everything should be easy. And that's also how we avoid burnout. It's how we build our businesses in a way that feels super good to us and to our bodies. We don't have to earn anything. We don't have to work hard for things. And when I say that, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you don't have to work hard, because I do believe in working hard. I'm talking about energetically what resistances are coming up and how can you use that to help guide yourself forward as you're on this journey of building your brand. And we went off on a little tangent there as you're building relationships too, because I think it applies in both areas of life. I think the truth is that you teach people how to treat you. In love and life, in business and brand, you teach when you're in business, you teach people to respect you. When you put yourself last, you're also teaching people that they can do that too. And so when you put yourself first, you're showing people how you show up in the world and what you're willing to tolerate. So before you pour in to your clients, to your family, to your partner, there's some things, yes, they're totally necessary. We have to do them on a daily basis, right? But I'm just talking about the mindset behind this. Like before you pour in to every other area and every other thing that needs you, like feed yourself first, literally and energetically. Feed yourself first. What do you need? And create a workspace that nourishes you. Create a work environment that nourishes you, not just in your, say, like office and the actual physical space that you're working in, but in the people you're connecting with, in the relationships you're nurturing, in the choices of the tasks that you're going to do. I'm not saying that we use this as a excuse for lack of productivity or lack of inefficiency or for slacking off. This is about guidance and leadership for you and your brand with your business. And this really is what self-worth means. When you are the biggest asset in your business and you're investing in that asset, you're increasing the worth of that asset over time, appreciating value of that asset, which is you. That's when your brand worth increases as a result as well, because your brand is a mirror for you when it's a personal brand. When you are caring for yourself, your brand is cared for. When you are nurturing yourself, your brand is nurtured. When you are pushing yourself into growth, you're pushing your brand into growth. And I believe when we prioritize our well-being, our work becomes magnetic. People can feel that about you. People can feel how you feel about yourself. When you self-respect, your clients respect you. When you honor yourself, people honor your brand. When you lead with courage, your brand leads with courage. When you build your own authority and lead with power, you're building brand authority and leading with brand power. When you are the CEO of your personal brand, you are your biggest business asset. And so it's super important to invest in you, to make sure you are cared for, you are nurtured, you are okay, you are held, you are fed, you are rested. That's what I hope you take away from this episode today. I think that's a nice place to wrap up. Thank you for listening with me today. It's been so nice to have you tune in from wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, sitting in your car, sitting in your lounge room, working out in the gym. This was a nice, chill episode. I really loved delivering this episode. It was super calming. Maybe I'll do more like this. And I'll see you all on the next one. Much love.